Alright everybody, welcome back to some more Oblivion modded playthrough. It is I, Xilestar, and today a lot of things have happened off screen. A ton of things actually, to be fair. So I finished my armor, as you probably are well aware by the fact that Lost Spires happened, or the mod playthrough of Lost Spires happened, and you can clearly see that a lot of things have changed. But allow me to kind of show off exactly what has changed through a different character, one that has everything like officially done and all that stuff. So yeah, so let's go and pop over to the mod playthrough character. So yeah, so the reason why a lot of things have changed for the armor is because as time goes on, I had to change all of my active abilities into items. So I had to create item enchantments for them. So I wanted to create 9, I don't want to say unique, but 9 new items with specific scripts that would run when they are equipped or when they're on the player kind of thing. So there's only a few things I need to do, but other than that, yeah, it's mostly just wait till mod playthroughs are finished and all that such stuff. No, I have not actually grabbed anything from Knights of the Nine Revelations yet as a reward, so we're still gonna have to wait up on that. I did check around. I did ask a couple people if it was possible to do it through normal Oblivion, even if it was like a slow or tedious method, and they told me that it's not possible. It's only possible through Oblivion script extenders. So I said, nah, I don't really want to do that then. And so I ended up trying to figure out other things that I could do while I waited for that, and I couldn't come up with anything. So if you have a cool item, or if there was any cool items, don't count the Crusader armor. I don't really want to touch that fact. But if there's any other armors or any other weapons that you think would be pretty cool for us to sort of reminisce about, please feel free. I was thinking True Flame, but have like a custom fire enchantment or something like that. That would be kind of cool. But hey, it's completely fine by me. So the other things is that let's go down the list of everything, to be fair. So one that you'll all are probably well aware of, unless I didn't show it off before, which could entirely be the case. Anytime I am in combat, I think it's, yeah, every time I'm in combat, we will get a detect life on anything that is 30 feet nearby. This was, I think, present for Lost Spires. Yeah, Lost Spires is where I showed it off. Where I think I also made a comment saying like, with 30 feet is not exactly what I wanted. I thought it would be shorter than that, but yeah, so 30 feet is pretty fine. There's another one script that's a part of, well, this script actually does like a whole bunch of crazy shenanigans, but anyway. So when you get the armor, you're going to be joining into a hidden faction. This faction is going to be hidden from the faction menu, as you can see. It is not here. Making sure that I'm indeed correct. Yes, I'm indeed correct. There's nothing there. And the reason why that is actually the case is because that is the reason why that dog attacked me, even though my stats are overboard. What it does is it makes all of the normal enemy factions like literally like have you vilified towards their faction and will attack you on sight, which is exactly what they were supposed to do, even though your personality is at 100. Now I'm going to be doing a little bit of tweaking, but this problem has already been addressed and already has 2 fixes already simultaneously working. Similar to how you play one of the DLCs. You have 2 things running, even though one of them becomes sort of more redundant than the other, but hey, it's fine. So my sort of answer to that problem was to reduce my attributes by a set amount. So all of these are going down to, I think it's supposed to be 175 for every attribute, and I think 125 for every skill. Now, of course, you don't see this here because this has the original script, so it has the original enchantments and such. But once we revert and go to the new one, you'll see that all these will change. Now, I'm going to add an item that's going to make all of the stats sort of, like, retain this sort of, like high numbers kind of thing. Health, magic, and fatigue have not changed. They are staying the same as they are, but I could do them if I really wanted to, but health is going to be the only one that dramatically changes. Magic and fatigue won't see too much of a change. You might see them either increase or decrease, but very little. So I decided not to move those because health is not really that big of a thing. Like look at that 2400, and I think with the other one it's like it changes it to like 2000 health, and then it's not really that big of a deal. So when you're in battle, you do that, of course. If you go inside an interior, you'll have the option of turning on the light spell, which is what this is, which is a item that gets added to the inventory, which will create a small little light field that is the same as a torch light. Except for I think the positioning is not exactly what I wanted it, but it's a close second. I'm going to try and figure out how to get it to be where I exactly want it to be. No, you don't. There you go. Yeah, so everything attacks me, not just one thing, not just anything. I think I posted something on the Nexus forums about this, where I said, like, hey, when I go through this one dungeon, everybody attacks me, but 2 people don't. Now, as you'll probably be well aware, look at this. Actually, it wasn't this room, I think it was the next room. And that, to me, already screams out progress, right? Like, all of them are now attacking me, rather than just one or the other, just all of them now, which is amazing. The other effect, Night Eye, has actually a cool thing that I found out later on. Yeah, that guy was one of the ones that didn't attack me, for whatever reason. Who's there? There you go. So that's everybody. Everybody attacked me, everybody's dead. The only ones that are still alive with the blood crabs and bats that are probably still here. There's one. Where's the other? Oh man, such epic music for a muddy crab. Anyway. Yeah, so like, I ended up changing all my stats and all that stuff because of the whole bugs and glitches and stuff like that, so I decided to go and, you know what? Just change it. Just change it. Don't care more. Bunch of other changes, but I'm going to show off the other character because it's going to make more sense. The other thing is that anytime we get a bounty... Huh. I actually didn't know about this. Or I did, but I just didn't really notice it. Anyway. Yeah, so like... One of the cool things now is that if you're a leader of a particular faction that is not on my playthrough character, you can literally just do this. Watch this.
Is there a problem? You too.
Yep.
What can I do for you?
Yep. Even if you kill them.
Fine. What seems to be...
Yep, even if you kill them. Now, this doesn't...
What can I do?
Oh, yeah, it's because that person reported me.
Go bother someone else.
Yeah, you do that.
By the gods of...
Man down! Man down!
There you go.
We're always on...
Yep, see? They're always on duty, apparently. So, like, no matter how many times you do it, you're always going to do that. But, of course, as you can the well-aware about my bounty, it still goes up. The largest bounty thing always occurs whenever you get a bounty. This system doesn't actually remove that part of the bounty system. Now, I could add an extra thing where it detects if this changes, but that doesn't change the fact that you still technically did it, so I'm not going to do that. But yeah. So there are a few things that have also changed based off of my new discovery of something and a potential issue that I had that I actually did resolve. So, I was recently looking at the Nexus trying to figure out if there's any other cool things I could do, and I found out that you can actually change certain variables that I thought were only considered spell effects, not anything else. So as you'll see, I'm underwater. But yet it looks like I can actually breathe underwater. How is this actually happening? Well, there is actually such a thing as you can actually set your actor variable for water breathing to 1, which will allow you to breathe underwater. Now another thing, actually I haven't tested this out. I'm going to test this out actually. Set of, whoops. Apparently this is supposed to work. Requires a reference. There you go. Perfect. That is so cool. It's a little clunky. I think it's because of my speed, or it's because, like, I think it's just water walking in general, where if you face down, you kind of just descend a little bit. Either that, or it's just the fact that it's the set of variable that's doing it. Anyway, yeah, you can actually set this stuff anytime you want. And if you want out, you should just set it to 0 and then watch this. It's cool. You can do it with water walking. I decided not to do it with water walking. You could also do it with, what's it called? Water breathing. You could also do it for reflect in general and stuff like that. That's a lot of the major reasons why I have a lot of crazy shenanigans. And yes, this also came into at a really cool revelation that I had about this whole thing. If I were to go to bat here, batcheck.txt, you'll see something that's actually very interesting. So let's go to a very dark area to show this off, because it's going to be much easier to show it off in a darker area. We'll go to the fighter's guild, my favorite area. And because this corner right here is very, very dark, we'll be able to see it much clearer. I'll just untap my name. Alright, so now we're going to go take this out. Reflect damage, negative 200. Very interesting. Resist disease, 190. Resist fire, frost, and shock by 100. Resist magic, 195. Resist normal weapons, 0. Resist paralysis and poison by 220. Spell absorption chance by 205%. And spell reflect, 0. And water breathing, 0. Now, water breathing was just so that, like, I could test out if that whole water breathing thing here actually did get promptly removed, and it did, so I never actually technically removed it. So, as you can see, those stats are not meant to be that way. I can show you what they're supposed to be. Look at that. That's what they're supposed to be. And they're not like that. At all. They are way too over. First of all of them are over 100. I don't have that. I don't have any of those stats over 100 because I still want to take at least some kind of damage from them, and to at least sort of show that, like, hey, this armor's not that overpowered where you don't take damage at all. So I implemented something, or not implemented, but I actually ended up doing something to that bat. I made a different one that will, instead of trying to find out what those variables are, will actually change them to what they're supposed to be. So let's go and implement that right now. So instead of bat check, we're going to go with bat fix. So batfix.txt, what this does is it sets those actor variables down to 0. Normally, what this would end up doing, if you were to do this to any other skill, is that it would reduce it down to 0. But because we're using the armor statistics, you'll see that these variables right here, these enchantments, see resist paralysis 60 and all that stuff, they don't change in the menu. But if I go to check the check bat, you know what, I'm going to go to Benner's Manor, show it off. They won't change either. They won't change either, as you can clearly see. The only one that has changed is spell absorption chance, which is supposed to be 60 and not 50, but that's because of a different thing that I'll get into in a minute. So as you can see, reflect damage is still negative 200. And there's literally nothing I can do about that. There was one thing that I did do that fixed it, so don't worry, the mod playthrough character is all fixed for the later ones, but I wondered why they were so easy, and I was barely taking any damage, and I thought it was really strange. But as you can see, yeah, everything's all good. Yeah, resist disease 30, that's normal. Resist fire, frost, and shock by 65. Resist magic 60. Resist paralysis and poison by 60. Those are all normal. Resist spell absorption chance, that's supposed to be 60, but it's 50, but I know the reason why it's not working. I know that, yeah. So spell reflect chance 0. Resist normal weapon 0. Water breathing 0. And technically, reflect damage is supposed to be 0. Now, I know the reason why the spell absorption is not actually working as it's supposed to. The reason why is because of the fact that the extra 10 that is being applied is an active effect. So it's an ability. It's not an enchantment. If it was an enchantment, it'd be at 60. But because it's an ability, the game doesn't read it as a spell effect. It reads it as a character stat. It reads it as an extra character stat. Which is why that it doesn't read it as any other thing but that. Which is why when you go and get active value of that, it gives you what the enchantments are. It doesn't actually give you what you're supposed to be at. And I don't know if the game is supposed to read it as 60 rather than 50 like it is, but I'm just going to say that it's reading it as 50. So yeah. So other cool things that the armor now does is that now I have all my spells reduced down to 7 on self spells, 6 touch, and 6 targets. The reason why I did that was because I kept wondering why I kept having so many spells, even though I don't use half of them. Like,